Well, I've had one or two comments about where my cooking video's gone, and to be quite frank, it's just because I've been so busy this year with caring, and it's had a knock-on effect on everything. But I thought, well, you like my videos, so what I'm going to do today is Christmas Eve, and in our household Christmas Eve is celebrated with steaks and chips and onions and mushrooms. So that's what I'm going to do, and you can't beat using a good old English potato. These are Shannon. These make really good chip potatoes and roast potatoes. And what we've got is a chipper. You can get these off Amazon. This was a new one. We've still, the old one we had for, well, I've had it all my life. It's been here. That's 51 years. But anyway, I thought it was time that we had a new one. So that's what this is. Brilliant. So what we're going to do, we've got a deep fat fryer. I'm hoping you can see this, yeah. Just going to move these bottles. I'm going to slide this across a little. I'm not putting it on yet. But what I'm basically going to do, I'm going to chip these. I'm just going to put them in the basket ready. And when I'm ready to do the dinner, I shall put the deep fat fryer on to warm up for 5 minutes. And it's not going to interfere with these chips because this basket is pretty well above the fat. So it'll only be the bottom ones that might be a bit more well done than the rest. And so we like our homemade chips. So that's what we'll use with that. I shall be moving the camera over to this angle once I've done this. We'll just have a little natter. Yeah, deep fat fryers are not used very often these days, I don't think. I certainly don't know anyone in my circles who uses one. And I have to be honest, we have been looking at alternatives. Apparently these air fryers are meant to be quite good. But how they compare to a deep fat fryer, I just don't know. Because I know a lot of people, they'll buy the chips, or they'll make their own, but they'll put them in the oven and it's never the same. And so I'm just wondering whether the same would happen with the deep fat fryer. Not deep fat fryer, the air dryer. Perhaps if you've got one of those, perhaps you can advise me, does it take the taste out of the chips? We've also been looking at pressure cookers, the electric ones, meant to be able to use them for multitasking, you know, for all sorts of, you know, everything from slow cooking to, you know, a whole range of things. And we were thinking about one for the quickness, because we like our roast joints and stuff like that. And I'm just wondering whether that would be any benefit to us, you know. I have to think about ways of creating more time. So I'd love your feedback on that. So we're just going to crack on. These potatoes, 3 potatoes, the large ones, because you can see I have to do it twice to get through the width of the potato. 3 large ones will feed my mum, my dad and myself, and we'll have more than enough to eat on there. Now, since yesterday's video, folks, there's been another turn with my mum. Now she's got shingles, so that's going to be take a few months for her to get over that. She's starting to get pain now. She didn't have any. I stumbled across it last night once the carers had left, and I noticed a rash just under her armpit, and then when I investigated it went all the way to her elbow, and then obviously she was in bed at that time, but we got the doctor out, and you could just see the odd bit on her back, but since then she's got a massive piece on the back now, and also over her breast as well. It's all on the right side, so she's not very comfy, and yeah, got to give her tablets every 3 hours, so I've got 4 lots of tablets. They're all staggered, so I'm dishing out tablets all day long. But anyway, so Christmas is kind of not happening this year. We were going to my sister's and we've had to cancel that now, and I'm going to cook a turkey crown here. Thankfully I've made a contingency plan, and so we don't need to worry about that. Probably noticed, folks, that I've got this issue with I don't like to run out of anything, and I always like to have something in place in case something breaks. So I have 2 or more of everything. It's, I don't know, some people might say it's a problem, but I always think of this, there was this advert on the telly, an insurance advert, and somebody got up the umbrella before it started raining. I always think of myself, always link myself with that advert. It's quite funny. I wonder how many of you make homemade chips this way. Perhaps you can let me know in the comments. Anyway, I must say I'm feeling rather tired, but I'll keep on the bright side on me. Right, so I'm going to move across in a minute. I'm just going to have a minute's break. I think we're still a bit early. And then I will crack on with the steaks, mushrooms and onions, and you can see how I cook it. I cook a traditional way. I've got no interest in this modern way of cooking where you cook things red raw and stuff like that. We do it the traditional way that my parents, which to a lot of you probably would be equivalent to grandparents, how they were brought up, and you'd never touch any meat what was bloody, purely for health reasons, and it's something what stuck with me, and so mine are always well done, but I don't like them overdone. But if you don't say well done when you go out for a meal, then they come back medium or pinky, and I won't touch it if it's not cooked. So I'll be back shortly. Okay folks, it's now time to get working on the prep for the steaks. What we're going to do, I'm going to put the steaks on ready. So we've got the rump steaks, sirloin steaks, we've got the fillet steak, and what we're going to do is put those on ready. Medium heat if it's cooking on the gas, not full on. I've put the deep fat fryer for the 5 minutes to warm up, that's already on. The idea is the steaks will take 15 minutes. The chips, homemade chips, will probably take about 10 minutes. So it's all down to timing, so if I should have this all perfectly timed, and I suppose I ought to look at the clock. So it's nearly 10 to, so it should be all ready at 5 past. So we've got mushrooms. These have come from the co-op, and how we tend to do it is just give it a quick bend, and then we take that bit out. We don't tend to eat, well, I don't eat them, but my mum and dad just like that bit. So then they will go in. Doesn't matter which way you put them in, because you've got to turn them over. Date, they've got to be eaten by tomorrow, so I know we're not going to get through all these. That phone's ringing. Sorry about that phone, folks. Quick phone call, you don't want to hear me on the phone. Right, I've put a load of mushrooms in. I've got a load left, but they're just going to have to be probably thrown away, because we're not going to get those eaten tomorrow. And then we've got some sliced red onion from the co-op. I'm just going to sprinkle some over the steak and just in the frying pan. It's in the one where it's mum's steak, because I'm not fond of onions with the steak. Coming up to time now to actually put the chips on, so I'm going to do that. I've already turned the steaks over while I was on the phone, but I'll do it again. It's best if you can turn them over every, well, I tend to do it every 30 seconds to a minute. Steaming up a bit in here, folks. Thankfully it's not steaming up on the camera. I really need to have the fan on, but it gets a bit noisy then. So that's basically it, folks. So all you've got to remember is for a well done steak, 15 minutes, keep turning it over. We cook it in lard, we don't use vegetable oil. You need to keep turning your mushrooms and your onions, just turn them over. We're going to do that now. And that is a straightforward meal. Lovely homemade chips with the steaks. My mum prefers fillet. Dad and I, we like sirloin or rump. Normally my steaks have more fat on. I have them specially done that way because that's what I like. But these were the Christmas ones, and that's how they came. So, because obviously the person who did them didn't realise how we like them. They are a bit thicker than normal as well, so hopefully they'll be well done by the time the chips are ready. And we'll be back and you can see them on the plate. Such an easy meal. Okay. Okay folks, the chips are all nicely done now. You can see how they've gone nicely brown. If we come round you can see the steaks are well cooked. Fillet steak, the mushrooms and the onions are all looking lovely. And it's now all time to serve up. So here we are folks. My mum's got a fillet steak and chips with mushrooms and onions. And she's tucking into the onions first. Let's see what she thinks to do them. She's very weak at the moment, folks. Got shingles on top of everything else. Oh, hey, folks. I never thought I'd get a mishap happening on the camera. But there you are folks, the table collapsed, the floor's wet through, but miraculously it missed my mum completely. So a glass of fruit juice and tea never even touched her, did it mum? And there she is. You wouldn't even know anything will happen. Anyway, I better go and cut the steak up for her. There we are then folks. And caught the mishap on camera, eh? Anyway, there's Daddy eating away. What do you think, Dad?
Good.
Is it good? Tender? There you are, just look at that, eh? There you are, folks. He's got his beer. It's Christmas Eve. Carlsberg special. I've just got shandy. I'm not, I don't drink. Right, okay then folks, we just want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and thanks for watching.